truth now. Yeah. I'm here to speak and make it clear. I'm sorry, y'all, for all I've done, but I'm not the only one. In a dark place, I told some lies, but I'm not the only one. We all got secrets under the sun. In the shadows, we played the game. Now I'm standing here taking the blame. A lot of y'all was at the freak off too, so don't put it all on me. That's just the truth. I've been up and down this road trying to find my peace. Confessions of a man without a release. Oh, now, hey. In the mirror, I saw the truth hiding in plain view. I'm coming clean now, this burden to undo. We were all there dancing shadows in the night, acting wrong when we knew what was right. But deep inside, there's more you must see. In this room of mirrors, it's not just me. I walk this path with heavy chains, trying to shed those sins, erase the stains. I've seen the highs and the crushing lows, fading in the spotlight, that's how it goes. Now I'm standing here, hard on my sleeve, trying to clear the air, let the demons relieve. Every wrong turn and every mistake led me to this moment, let my soul quake. Plays a part in the shadows deep, lost in the game. It's promises to keep.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Saturday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get into it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, a big shout out to my moderators putting in work. Okay, so All Hell Nah is here. Juju B, love her. The Queen Tulsa Show. All right. Deronda is here. Ethelene, Miss J, Samantha, Lillian X. All right, so let's get into it. Christy One Love is here. All right, HCY Project, Sandra, Jamie. Okay, so shout out to everyone tuned into the Queen. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Now, before we get started, hey, Veronica, before we get started, let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Okay, everyone, please hit that like button. Okay, it doesn't cost you anything. You can do it absolutely for free. That's the best way to support the channel. Thank you.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes for your hair at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, and for the men out there, don't forget that she has a fabulous beard oil. Okay, so let's get into it. Because here's the thing. Conscious Light Seeker says, don't dance with the devil. Exactly. Hello, Arik-san. I hope I said your name right. Okay, so with that all been said, let's get into it because listen, now, I do believe that Mr. Alex Spiro, who I think is nefarious, as I told you guys on yesterday, I think that he has given us the name of Celebrity B. Hello, Faye. I think he's told us who Celebrity B is. Okay. So with that all been said, let's get into it. Now, let me just say that I can't verify this. He didn't absolutely say that this is Celebrity B, but what he said I thought was very interesting. So let's get into it because I'm going to pull up the lawsuit. Okay, I'm going to pull up the lawsuit that he filed, the paperwork. Now, we went over this last night, just a few pages of it. But what we didn't go over is the first page. Okay, so I want you all to pay attention. Now, this was filed by Alex Spiro, okay, for the Jane Doe plaintiff. Now, here is what it says. Defendant Sean Carter respectfully submits this memorandum of law in support of his emergency motion for an order to show cause and an order for the preservation of evidence to strike plaintiff's complaint pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12F1. Now, this is not a lawsuit. My mistake. I misspoke. This is actually a complaint that he filed when he was trying to get the case dismissed. Now, I want you all to listen closely to what it says in this filing. Okay, admissions by the plaintiff and damning admissions by her own father in a December 13th revelatory NBC interview cast yet further doubt on a claim that was obviously false from the start. The timeline, location, and occurrence of events alleged and plaintiff's complaint are rendered impossible by these admissions. She claims her father picked her up after the assault. He doesn't remember taking that 5-hour trip. She claims that she spoke with the musician Benji Madden that night. Now, let me just pause for a second. And put my watermark on here. Okay. So, goes on to say, Benji Madden said he was not even in New York. Now, she claims the assault took place at an after party hosted in a private residence. Photos show Mr. Carter at an after party at a nightclub. When pressed by NBC, plaintiff was forced to admit that I have made some mistakes. I have made a mistake in identifying. Not all the faces there are as clear, and even that she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. What is more is she admits that she does not have a single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. Plaintiff's unsupported allegations crumble under scrutiny as the evidence and lack thereof reveals glaring inconsistencies and outright impossibilities in her story. Her account describes a jumbotron on the screen of the Video Music Awards, but according to NYPD sources and MTV producers, no such jumbotron existed. MTV applied for a permit to install one, but was denied. She references a house that supposedly fits the description of the location of the alleged assault, but no such house exists. And plaintiff's allegations become even more dubious when considering the nightclub. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Photos from the night in question show Mr. Combs and Miss Jennifer Lopez at both Lotus and Twirl clubs in New York. NBC reported that photos separately show that Mr. Carter was at Lotus following the VMAs. Now, I want you all to ask yourselves, why did he just come out the blue and say Jennifer Lopez and Mr. Sean Carter? Why did he come out the blue and say Jennifer Lopez and Mr. Sean Carter? Alita says she can still be telling the truth. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. December says, yes, you said that, Queen. Okay, now I want you all to pay attention. He specifically says that Mr. Carter and Jennifer Lopez were at Club Lotus. Now, with that all being said, I don't know why he would mention Jennifer Lopez in this filing unless perhaps she is Celebrity B. Now, what do you all think? Now, of course, he doesn't confirm this. But at the end of the day, he says Jennifer Lopez out of the blue. Now, this is supposed to be about Jay-Z being removed from the filing. It seems to me that he listed Jennifer Lopez's name to reaffirm that Jay-Z wasn't there, that the accuser is in fact mistaken. Now, what do you all think? What do you all think about this? Because I find it all very interesting. Now, I read over this a couple of days ago, and for some reason, that just skirted past my observation. Okay, that just skirted right past my observation. So, with that all being said, I think, now I can't confirm this, I can't substantiate it. This is all speculation, but I do believe that J-Lo is absolutely celebrity B. Now, that's my opinion. Now, mind you, J-Lo, Diddy, and Jay-Z, they're all presumed innocent until otherwise proven otherwise. But at the end of the day, I absolutely think that's who that is. And I think that's why he included her name in this lawsuit. Okay? At the end of the day, I don't think he should have put her name in there, period. Okay? If she didn't have anything to do with it, I don't think her name should have even been included. Now, why would he specifically say that? The Grift Eyes Harder says, I think he made a mistake, but has to roll with it because it's true. Yes, inadvertently. And you see, just like I told you guys, he's doing too much. He's absolutely doing too much, like I told you guys on yesterday. Okay? Like I told you guys on yesterday, he is absolutely doing too much. Okay, so Grace Broadway says a blind can see what's going on here. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. Diane Nash says his trickery will not work. J-Lo done made her statement. Bye-bye, Jay-Z. Yep. Okay. You know, maybe he purposely put J-Lo's name in there to throw people off of Jay-Z's scent, to put the focus on her rather than Jay-Z. Who knows? But at the end of the day, like Isaac Benson just said, it's about to get messy. Okay, I absolutely agree, beloved. HCY Project says, I did see J-Lo yelling at Puffy at a party that night. She then left with her sister. Yes, I saw that too. I saw that too, but she was also with Diddy later on that night because I reported on that, beloved, and I showed that same picture. Okay, I showed that same picture. But I'm telling you guys that I absolutely think that Celebrity B is J-Lo because I don't have any other reason, can't fathom any other explanation as to why he would put her name in here. Okay, please pay attention. But let's read on just a little bit further. Now, he says Jennifer Lopez, Sean Carter, and Jennifer Lopez both were at Lotus and Twirl clubs in New York. NBC reported that photos separately show that Mr. Carter was at Lotus following the VMAs. Taken together, the factual inconsistencies, timeline impossibilities, and the lack of corroborating evidence make plaintiff's allegations in the FAC wholly unreliable. Not only do these extraordinary inconsistencies undermine plaintiff's case, they highlight severe misconduct by her counsel, Anthony Buzbee, and the Buzbee law firm. Unable to escape the foundational cracks in plaintiff's story laid bare by the NBC interview, Buzbee was forced to backpedal, repudiating the very allegations he signed his name to. In an attempt to deflect from his own failures, he foisted blame on another law firm, claiming the case was vetted before it was sent to him. And so concerned is Buzbee that he is now having his client sit for a polygraph. The takeaway is obvious. Buzbee failed to undertake a reasonable inquiry into the facts before filing the complaint, and then amending it to assert a claim against Mr. Carter, despite an affirmative duty to do so under Rule 11. But that was just one step in his cavalcade of misconduct. Although he has signed his name to pleadings and other documents filed in this case, Buzbee has denied or he has declined to seek admission to this court, apparently seeking to circumvent this court's authority to enforce Rule 11. Buzbee's rule breaking also extends beyond this action. He has a long history of abusing the legal process and shirking ethical responsibilities. In a case in California Superior Court, for instance, Buzbee was admonished by the judge for violating pretrial rulings, and a federal court in Texas rejected a fee arrangement orchestrated by Buzbee and his firm because it violated public policy. Now, in the footnote on page 2, it says, though photos show Miss Lopez, again, he brings up J-Lo, please pay attention. Though photos show Miss Lopez in a different outfit at the clubs or at the nightclubs than what she wore to the VMAs, it's clear those photos were taken on the same evening because her jewelry and accessories appear unchanged. I'm sorry, why is he continuously mentioning J-Lo in this filing? We should all be asking ourselves. The only reason, as I said, that I can find that he would be doing such is because J-Lo is likely, in my opinion, okay, without any confirmation, just my opinion, celebrity B. Okay? That's what I think. That's what I think. So with that all being said, let's continue. So Sheila says, no, it wasn't Beyonce. Solange just said it. She said Beyonce has a contract with Jay-Z that she is allowed to cheat whenever he rates children. She has to be there to watch. What? Now, I don't know anything about that, but here's the thing. I don't believe it was Beyonce because it didn't come out that Beyonce and Jay-Z were even dating until about 2001. And this is a 2005 BMAs. So I don't think Beyonce had anything to do with this. Okay. HCY Project says, I think she's a witness. He put J-Lo at the club in this demand. So if she says she was at the party, he can counter J-Lo and say, no, here's a pic of you at the club. Spiro did this to squash J-Lo's statement. You know, that's a possibility too, beloved. That is a possibility. Okay. Songwriter Sunny says, is she still Jenny from the block asking for an autistic friend? I don't know, but I find this all crazy. Hey, Andrew. Okay, so with that all being said, Ebony Eye says, how would he know J-Lo was celebrity B? She def is celebrity B. J-Lo actually went to law school, says Eric. Okay, so with that all being said, this is all very interesting, but let's continue. So it goes on to say that an order immediately mandating the preservation of all evidence relevant to this case is necessary to ensure that Mr. Carter has a full and fair opportunity to present his defense against plaintiff's fictitious claims that Buzbee is not admitted to this court and thus is apparently attempting to avoid its disciplinary authority only underscores the pressing need for such an order. For the same reasons, all of the plaintiff's allegations about Mr. Carter are scandalous, warranting striking them from the FAC under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12F. Buzbee filed this lawsuit on October 20th of 2024 against Mr. Combs and his associated businesses on behalf of an anonymous Jane Doe plaintiff. The initial complaint alleged that Mr. Combs, along with another unnamed male celebrity, raped plaintiff at an after-party held at Mr. Combs' home following the Video Music Awards. Now, rather than name Mr. Carter as a defendant when the original complaint was filed, Buzbee resorted to a campaign of extortion, seeking to extract an exorbitant sum in private mediation and threatening to go public with false and outrageous allegations that Mr. Carter raped multiple minors unless Mr. Carter acquiesced. Now, multiple minors. I want you all to pay attention. So what does that mean? Well, here's another shocking revelation. If he's saying that Mr. Buzbee said that or threatened to file lawsuits claiming that Sean Carter raped multiple minors, you know what that means, beloveds? That means that more likely than not, there are other lawsuits that Mr. Buzbee is going to file that will have Jay-Z's names attached to them. That's what that likely means, because why would he say multiple minors? Are you all hearing this? Are you all paying attention? Okay, to what has been laid out in this complaint? Now, mind you, Tony Buzbee initially said that there were 25 people who claimed that there were minors at the time of these assaults of which Diddy has been accused. 25. So obviously, Jay-Z is going to be named in more of them if his own attorney, Alex Spiro, says in this complaint that Mr. Carter, he says that he was threatening to go public with false and outrageous allegations that Mr. Carter raped multiple minors unless Mr. Carter acquiesced. Mr. Carter refused. It was only after this attempt to squeeze Mr. Carter that Buzbee filed the FAC, adding Mr. Carter as a defendant and alleging that he was the previously unnamed male celebrity. Now, the FAC alleges that on or around September the 7th of 2000, plaintiff attended an after party in the New York City, purportedly hosted by Mr. Combs, at a large white house with a gated U-shaped driveway and a large living room or foyer. At the after party, the FAC alleges plaintiff recognized many celebrities, which included people like Fred Durst, Benji Madden, and others. The FAC then alleges that she was drugged and abused or assaulted by Mr. Combs. The FAC also alleges that Mr. Carter was the previously unnamed male celebrity. Was the previously unnamed male celebrity B who has purportedly assaulted plaintiff. After the incident, plaintiff allegedly left the party and went to a gas station where she called her father, admitted that she had lied about her whereabouts, and asked him to pick her up. Plaintiff's father then purportedly arrived to pick her up shortly before dawn. Just 5 days after Buzbee filed the FAC containing these scandalous allegations, NBC News published a story containing excerpts of interviews that its reporter held with plaintiff and her father, and presenting other information that severely undermines the merits of this lawsuit. For example, NBC reported that photos of Mr. Carter from that night of the purported assault show him at a nightclub in New York called Lotus, which has no resemblance to the white residence with a U-shaped driveway and a large living room described in plaintiff's FAC. Photos from that night also show Mr. Combs and Miss Lopez, again she's mentioned, attended parties at 2 nightclubs at the night in question, or on the night in question, Lotus and Twirl. Further, despite being sure she talked to Benji Madden at the after party about his tattoo, The Last Supper, because she has a religious background, so it was something to talk about, Mr. Madden was never there. Now, the footnote says, citations to docket number 46 refer to the ECF pagination located at the top of the page. Though photos show Miss Lopez in a different outfit at the clubs than she wore to the VMAs, it is clear those photos were taken on the same evening because her jewelry and accessories appear unchanged. He did not attend the VMAs, did not attend the purported after party, and was not even in New York at the time. Instead, he was halfway across the country in the Midwest on tour with his band Good Charlotte. Finally, though the FAC alleges that plaintiff called her father to pick her up from a gas station following the assault, he denied that it happened. This denial was damning. In fact, he told NBC he was unaware of his daughter's assault allegation until the week he was interviewed. NBC reported that he has no recollection whatsoever of picking up plaintiff on the night of the VMAs. And plaintiff and her father were living in Rochester at the time, which would have required her father to drive more than 5 hours from their home to pick her up on the night in question, an event that no father would forget if it actually happened. Her father admitted as such, telling NBC, feel like I would remember that, and I don't. That's something that would definitely stick in my mind. Her father recalled one instance when he picked up the plaintiff in the middle of the night, but he said it was a local drive in Rochester. Moreover, Buzbee effectively admitted to NBC that his firm failed to conduct any investigation into the merits of plaintiff's claims prior to filing extraordinary allegations of child rape against Mr. Carter. Buzbee seeks to shirk his Rule 11 obligations and foist blame onto another law firm for the glaring inconsistencies exposed by the NBC report. Rather than conducting his own due diligence to vet his client's claims, Buzbee merely relied on the purported vetting of another firm, telling NBC Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another, who vetted it prior to sending it to us. But no one from the other firm signed the pleadings in this case. Buzbee did. His failure to investigate the claims violated Rule 11. Further, as explained in the letter that Mr. Carter filed with this court on December 13th of 2024, in more than 8 weeks since he signed the initial complaint in this case, Buzbee has failed to seek admission to this court pro hoc vice in an evident attempt to avoid the power of this court to enforce Rule 11 and other rules against him. Now, I want you all to pay attention because this is all very interesting, okay? This is all very interesting because at the end of the day, J-Lo's name is mentioned several times in this lawsuit. Okay, several times in this lawsuit. And what's the explanation? Okay, what is the occasion? I mean, what is the reason, the explanation? Okay, now with that all being said, let's continue. And when it says Buzbee has failed to seek admission to this court, pro hoc vici, it means basically in this case or on this occasion, okay, for this time only, basically referring to a lawyer who's temporarily permitted to practice in a jurisdiction where they're not normally licensed, okay, in order to represent a client for a specific cause or case. All right, so he said that Buzbee didn't even file to temporarily represent his client in New York City at the Southern District of New York within the court because he doesn't want the court to enforce Rule 11 and other rules against him because this case is frivolous and he didn't do his due diligence and basically vetting properly his client. That's what Mr. Alex Spiro is alleging. Now, Buzbee's gross violation of Rule 11 in this case and his failure to comply with this court's admission requirements are just the most recent examples in a long line of litigation misconduct. For instance, Buzbee and his firm were recently accused of violating the rules of professional conduct by 3 former clients for his deceitful conduct. And then he goes on to list those cases and the clients. Let us not forget that Buzbee has been sued, okay, and it's alleging, Mr. Buzbee, is alleging that this is all at the behest of Jay-Z's team. Moreover, now it says, what is more, according to a former client of Buzbee, the Buzbee law firm dropped her as a client after she resisted the firm's efforts to pressure her to adopt a false narrative of her experiences as a victim of trafficking by celebrities unrelated to this case. Specifically, the Buzbee law firm pressed her to confirm that she was drugged, held down, pushed, and physically assaulted, all false details. Moreover, she was repeatedly asked for a connection to Mr. Combs, though she made clear her case was unrelated to him. And already in this case, he violated Rule 3.4 E of the New York Rules of Professional Conduct, prohibiting attorneys from threatening to present criminal charges solely to obtain an advantage in a civil matter by making such threats to Mr. Carter to extract a settlement prior to bringing frivolous claims against him in the FAC. Buzbee also has a track record of employing suspect tactics to gain an unfair advantage in the course of litigation. Because Buzbee frequently serves clients on a contingency fee arrangement, he has a personal stake in the outcome of his cases and has demonstrated his creativity in stepping over the line to promote his own interests. Now, for those of you who don't know what a contingency is, basically said that he doesn't get paid until after the case is settled and resolved. Okay, so he takes the case without any upfront money or without asking for any retainer fees. Now, in one notable case, a federal court invalidated a referral agreement between Buzbee and a known fact witness in the case as invalid as a matter of public policy, which entitled the witness to 15% of gross attorney's fees awarded if Buzbee's client was victorious. Okay, then he lists the case. Now, in another unscrupulous tactic, in order to get a case heard in a favorable venue, the Buzbee firm submitted venue pleadings and a client affidavit characterized as, at best, incorrect and at worst, fraudulent. I mean, he's going all in. Please pay attention, honey. He's dragging Buzbee through the mud. Now, after the defendant's counsel notified Buzbee's firm that his clients misrepresented facts that affected the trial's court's venue determination, Buzbee unilaterally non-suited the case and refiled a substantially similar case in another favorable venue. Finally, Buzbee has demonstrated a lack of respect for and willingness to violate judicial orders. In one case, Buzbee baselessly accused former baseball player Scott Erickson of being to blame for a murder while representing criminal defendant Rebecca Grossman. He falsely claimed Erickson was the driver who hit and killed 2 young boys and was hiding in the bushes. After the fatal act, despite no evidence to support that assertion. Now, prosecutors accused Buzbee and his team of unethical behavior, stating they were making a mockery of the judicial or the justice system. The presiding judge rebuked Buzbee, declaring, "We cannot have the defense violating pretrial rulings and expose the jury to evidence that contradicts those rulings," and reprimanded him for his conduct, stating that if it continued, the court would consider financially sanctioning Buzbee and reporting him to the state bar. Now, in the footnotes, they have the link to that case. Now, all participants of a lawsuit, including attorneys, have an unassailable duty to preserve evidence that might be useful to the adversary. Okay, anyone who anticipates being a party or is party to a lawsuit must not destroy unique, relevant evidence that might be useful to the adversary, which means they have to keep all exculpatory evidence. Now, where there is a risk of destruction of such evidence, the court may issue a protective order directing preservation of the evidence. Courts often apply the three-factor test articulated in Capricorn Power Company to determine whether such an order is appropriate. Now, this test evaluates, one, the level of concern that the court has for the continuing existence and maintenance of the integrity of the evidence in question in the absence of an order directing preservation of the evidence. Two, any irreparable harm likely to result to the party seeking the preservation of evidence absent an order directing preservation. And three, the capability of an individual, entity, or party to maintain evidence sought to be preserved, not only as the evidence original form, condition, or contents, but also the physical, spatial, and financial burdens created by ordering evidence preservation. Okay, so with that all being said, I think we see what's all going on here. Now, this is basically when they filed their motion to have Buzbee not get rid of any evidence. Now, goes on to say, Mr. Carter faces a significant risk that Buzbee will destroy relevant evidence. Revelations from the recent NBC interview have Buzbee reeling and has established a very high likelihood that Buzbee violated Rule 11 by assigning the FAC. That interview exposed that the claim against Mr. Carter is meritless, and Buzbee all but concedes that he failed to vet plaintiff's allegations before filing this lawsuit or amended it to include Mr. Carter by seeking to place blame for his shortcomings on an unnamed law firm who allegedly referred him the case. In other words, Buzbee has been caught red-handed violating Rule 11's ongoing duty on lawyers to conduct a reasonable inquiry into the facts and the law before filing. Now, I want you all to pay attention, because are you all hearing this? Are y'all hearing this? Basically, he's accusing Buzbee of being caught red-handed, the same exact thing that Buzbee accused him of. The same exact thing that Buzbee accused Jay-Z's team of, okay? Buzbee said they were caught red-handed on audio when they were trying to allegedly bribe his former clients. So this whole thing is getting really crazy. It's like a tug of war back and forth. It's like a bunch of mud and dirt slinging. It's like a bunch of allegations against one another. And, really, it's no longer about Jay-Z and Diddy and the female celebrity mentioned. It's more now about Alex Spiro and Tony Buzbee. Please pay attention. Now, under these circumstances, and in light of Buzbee's misconduct in this lawsuit and others, okay, it must be assumed that Buzbee will go to extraordinary lengths to conceal his ethical violations. There is accordingly a significant risk that Buzbee will seek to destroy documents or other evidence that would demonstrate that he knew or should have known that the allegations in the complaint were false. Now, in the footnote, it says, Mr. Carter filed a pre-motion letter raising Buzbee's Rule 11 violation on December 13th and intends to file a motion to strike the FAC under Rule 11 in short order. So I think we've pretty much heard enough, okay? I think we've pretty much heard enough. So he goes on to drag Buzbee even further. Let me see if J-Lo's name is mentioned anymore in here, because I find this all very interesting at the end of the day. Why would he need to bring J-Lo into this? I mean, because it seems as if he's trying to prove J-Lo's whereabouts when nobody mentioned J-Lo, okay? Why would he be trying to confirm her whereabouts as well? Now, in this footnote on this page on 14, it says, some courts have applied an alternative likelihood of success on the merits standard used in the context of a motion for a preliminary injunction in assessing emergency applications for preservation orders. Even assuming that standard applies, and it says it does not. But Mr. Carter is entitled to the relief he seeks, as detailed in his pre-motion letter and in docket 46, and will be explained in his forthcoming Rule 11 motion. Plaintiff's claim against Mr. Carter is utterly frivolous and without merit. Should that motion be denied, discovery will undoubtedly confirm this. Okay, as described super at 5 through 9. Now, the NBC interview revealed numerous fundamental inconsistencies in plaintiff's story, including where the alleged assault took place. She claims at a private residence. Photographic evidence shows Mr. Carter at a nightclub that evening. Who she spoke to, she claims clearly recalling speaking with Benji Madden because of a readily identifiable tattoo that he has of the Last Supper. He was halfway across the country, and even how she got home. She claims her dad drove her. He insists he has no memory of that. When pressed by NBC, she even had to admit that her memory was faulty, acknowledging she made some mistakes, that not all the faces there are as clear, and that she was guessing as to key details, including how long the trip took. Given that only 5 days after Mr. Carter was added to this action, considerable evidence has already come to light contradicting the allegations in the FAC, further evidence undermining her claims is almost certain to be revealed if this case proceeds to discovery. Mr. Carter has shown a likelihood of success on the merits, warranting an immediate preservation order. Court should dismiss plaintiff's entire FAC and at a minimum strike the allegations contained therein, referencing Mr. Carter, and dismiss him from this action. Now, in conclusion, it states, for the reasons stated above, a preservation order is necessary to ensure that plaintiff and her counsel, Buzbee, and the Buzbee law firm preserve all evidence relevant to this case, and given that the NBC interview revealed the meritless nature of the allegations against Mr. Carter, the FAC should be stricken under Rule 12F. As such, Mr. Carter respectfully requests that the court issue the attached proposed order to show cause, ordering Buzbee and his firm to show cause as to why a preservation order should not issue and why the FAC should not be stricken, and Mr. Carter dismissed from this action, and to set a hearing on the motion for Thursday, December the 19th, 2024 at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter as the court deems appropriate. Okay, so I have several questions. I have several questions. With that all being said, something is not right. Okay, something is not right. At the end of the day, And by the way, when he keeps talking about FAC, that just basically means failure to answer a citation. Okay? As if he doesn't have to respond to it, doesn't have to give an answer. So what do you all think? What do you all have to say about it, honey? Because I absolutely think now more so than ever that it's J-Lo. Okay? I absolutely think now more than ever that it's J-Lo. Please pay attention. Okay, the Grift Dice Hard here said J-Lo's in deep. She's in big trouble. She got gun accusations bouncing around. She lied about guns, allegedly. Okay, HCY Project says either J-Lo is being placed at the club to debunk witness for victim, or he's saying J-Lo can be witness for Jay-Z. Spiro knows what he's doing. Oh yeah, he absolutely does. He absolutely does. He absolutely does, beloved. I agree on that. Cookie said, Queen, you can smell it. Something is rotten. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. Juju said, no wonder she out of the country. The Jay-Z's using disinformation. Okay, this is all real interesting. Chrissy One Love says, yes, indeed. Puffy has all his girls hold his guns for him. Right, because I believe that, because that's exactly what Cassie said in her lawsuit. If you guys remember, Cassie said that Diddy had her put 2 guns in her purse. Andrew says, I bet you there was video of J-Lo pulling the gun out of her bag at the club. You know what? I wonder if there was. She never got any consequences, though. Jamie said they're saying that Sean Combs was going to tried to call Jennifer Lopez as a witness for him, but I think prosecution got to Jennifer first, and it's going to have her be a witness for them. Honey, this is all so juicy, okay? Vince I Am says, J-Ho is engaging in wiggetry nonsense, allegedly. Not wiggetry nonsense. Okay, so everyone, please like and share it. Now let's continue. Let's continue because now the young lady who sued Diddy, the new lawsuit that's been brought into this. Well, before we get into that, let's talk about Buzbee clowning Jay-Z. Okay, Buzbee called Jay-Z histrionic. He called him histrionic, which basically means melodramatic, okay, like extra, just doing too much, theatrical, if you will. Okay, so just mocking and clowning him. Billionaire Jay-Z is a bully who has shrilly maintained an entitlement to different rules and fostered procedures against Jane Doe, who claims the Picasso baby rapper Sean Diddy Combs and an unnamed female celebrity raped her in 2000 when she was 13 years old. Says the accuser's lawyer in the latest war of words between the parties in the federal docket. Now, in what is starting to sound a lot like the MSU of lawsuits, where each side is perpetually teasing or declaring what is coming next, Tony Buzbee's letter Friday to Judge Annalisa Torres caps the latest phase of an action where Combs has been almost a sideshow to the main action of the Houston-based plaintiff's lawyer, the rapper born Sean Carter, and Jay-Z's longtime legal sideman, Alex Spiro, throwing down on each other daily with pledges to be very street and very much a Marine. So in each instance, the goal has been to blur the facts and rush a decision. This is what Buzbee asserts of the tactics employed by the hip-hop legend and the Quinn Emanuel partner in his 3-page correspondence. Now, saying, but there is aggressive advocacy and then there is bad faith. Mr. Carter's latest tactics, much like his open threat to refer plaintiff's attorneys for disciplinary action, cross that line. Mocking Jay-Z and his acerbic Spiro for being histrionic, Buzbee, who is working on most of the dozens of civil assault cases against the incarcerated Combs, says outside the courtroom, Mr. Carter has employed tactics of intimidation and harassment, even more extreme, torturous, and quite possibly illegal. Going on in the letter to claim that 99 Problems defendant twist plaintiff's words over portions of her recollection on the post-MTV VMAs nights 24 years ago in an NBC News interview last week. Buzbee says Carter's threat of an immediate sanctions motions on the first whisper of factual uncertainty is just one more instance of bullying and tending to have a chilling effect on plaintiff and plaintiff's counsel and any potential plaintiffs watching these proceedings. And so anyway, that all been said, I find it all so interesting. And then, or as Spiro said to Deadline today over Buzbee's letter, he says, when it became crystal clear to everyone that this case is a total sham, this lawyer, who did not properly vet this claim, promised to polygraph his client. Where are the polygraph results? He asked. Okay, he says, where are the polygraph results? Now, having hit Combs with another Jane Doe S assault today in federal court in New York, Buzbee's office did not respond to Deadline's request for comments on the remarks of Alec Baldwin and Elon Musk attorney, Spiro. So, Spiro is the attorney for Elon Musk and Alec Baldwin. Okay. And then, however, if we do hear from Buzbee, don't be surprised if he responds with words like this from today's filing in the Diddy Jay-Z case. Like Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter is rich, famous, and powerful. Mr. Carter will exert all the pressure he can to intimidate and harass plaintiff, me, or anyone else. The chilling effect of those efforts is substantial, as it is the potential chilling effect of a motion being brought into these circumstances. But ultimately, in our court system, the rules are the same for Mr. Carter and for the plaintiff here, and the Rule 11 safe harbor cannot be abrogated on his whim. So whether the two sides put their swords down for the holidays over this very serious and well-watched battle is anyone's guess, but it would be a big leap for all concerned. Still, with Beyonce set as the marquee act in the Rock Nation produced halftime show of Netflix's live Christmas Day NFL matchup between Houston Texans and Baltimore Ravens, the world will be watching. Okay, so there you all have it. Now, with that all being said, I absolutely believe it was J-Lo at this point. Okay, absolutely believe it. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so now let's go to this. Hold on, you guys. Let's go to this interview. Hold on, let me make sure this is it. There's an interview. Here it is right here. Let's go to the interview of the woman who did assaulted her. The woman that I reported on to you last night who filed claims against Diddy. Remember, you heard it here first. Okay? This is Latroya Grayson, the latest person to sue Diddy. Now, I want you all to pay attention because here's my thing. This lady, her attorney is Ariel Mitchell Kidd, the same woman who is representing the liar, Courtney Burgess, okay? And also the other liar, Andrea English. I've told you all before that I find this lady to be absolutely nefarious. I find her to be not very credible, and I find her to be just a bit sketchy. That's my opinion. Now, with that being said, I also find it interesting that this new client of hers doesn't seem to know who did what to her. Now, she says that she was drugged, but nonetheless, she doesn't seem to know who did what. So please pay attention.
Says she believes that she was drugged and assaulted at one of Diddy's parties in 2006. And Latroya joins us live now. This is her first time speaking out since filing this lawsuit just today. We're also joined by her attorney, Ariel Mitchell. I appreciate both of you ladies being with us on a Friday night. Latroya, I want to start with you. Walk us through what happened. I know that your sibling won a contest to go to a Diddy party. You flew out to New York. What happened from there, Latroya?
Well, pretty much everything that happened is in the lawsuit. So I would encourage any and everyone that would like to know the information to read it.
Yeah, I understand. And we've looked at the lawsuit today. I just wanted to hear from you what happened. I mean, because I can imagine you guys won the tickets to go, which must have been pretty exciting. You were in Oklahoma, right?
Yes, sir.
And so you flew to New York. Was it with your sister?
Yes, sir.
And were you excited? I mean, what were you thinking it was going to be like?
Fun, hanging out, the normal parties, getting to take some pictures with some celebrities.
Yeah, I would imagine getting to go to a Diddy party. I mean, now we know that, you know, what was really going on allegedly, but I'd imagine at the time that would have been exciting to win that. What was it? What do you remember it being like when you got there?
Let me just pause for a second to interject. Okay, now this lady really seems to me as if she doesn't want to get into the details. Talking about read the lawsuit. Ma'am, we've read the lawsuit. He has you on the show to hear what you have to say. And it seems as though she doesn't want to get into the specifics. And that's likely because, as I told you guys, according to the lawsuit, which I read to you on yesterday, she doesn't want to admit that she doesn't know who the hell raped her. Okay? That's what I think. Cookie says, Vince, I am. She don't want that smoke with the real queen, Shakur. But let's continue.
Can we just for a second, you know, I don't want to put too much on Mrs. Grayson in terms of answering a lot of questions. Today was already a hard enough day. It did take us some time even, you know, for her to come forward and be able to, you know, talk publicly about what happened to her.
If she doesn't want to talk publicly about what happened, why the hell is she on this man's show? I'm sorry, what? This man wants to hear the scoop, as do we. We want the tea, lady, so go ahead and spill it and stop playing these games. Okay, now did she get raped or not? We have questions.
So, I hope we can just not pepper her with as many questions about, that night. I know everyone wants to hear from the victims, but it's very traumatic having them relive these things that happened to them. So, I want to make sure I'm also preserving what we need to do for our litigation with Mrs. Grayson as well, and protecting any.
Okay, I'm sorry. This woman right here, this attorney right here, this lady is so nefarious at the end of the day. Now, why is she on here? Are you going to let this woman speak and tell her story or not? If not, then why are you there? Did you just want us to see you on television again, clout chasing attorney? Okay, this woman is the clout chasingest attorney have I ever seen. This woman is a whole clout chaser. Are y'all paying attention? Okay, are y'all listening to this bullshit? Okay, Miss J said, why are they there? Just anticipate, said, give us the tea. Exactly, give us the tea, damn it. All right? I mean, this is so crazy. Sean H said she doesn't even sound professional. Absolutely not. Yeah, why are you there if you're not going to let the girl speak? Shadow says, I absolutely believe her, though, because if she was lying, she would have given a name instead of saying she didn't know who did it. Listen, that could or couldn't be true, beloved. But I think that something's afoot for the simple fact that Ariel Mitchell Kidd, here's the thing. Why is she bringing the lady on here? Dorada said, got Queen cursing just a little bit, okay? Well, Miss I am said ambulance chasing attorney allegedly. Okay, she's the ambulance chaser. Exactly. Andrew says, Queen, you're so funny. Thank you, but I'm so serious. Look at that Queen. She is a ghetto lawyer. Okay, what is really going on here? Let's see what she's going to spill, honey, because if you're not spilling tea, we don't have time for it.
Anything that she does say, I like to explain to people in the evidence rules, anything she says can be used against her. But she did want to come forward with all the allegations, with all the individuals that are making, very rarely are you seeing any of the victims actually coming forward. So today she was very brave, and through her, her doubts, wanted to come forward and do this program here today.
Yeah, I understand, and I wouldn't want to put her in an uncomfortable situation, and I understand she just filed the lawsuit. I just wanted her to explain what she remembers from that night. Maybe you, Ariel, since not everybody's seen the lawsuit. I've seen the lawsuit, but people watching haven't read the lawsuit. Maybe you can explain what you are alleging in the lawsuit.
So essentially, it's pretty easy facts. There was a nationwide contest that was promoted where you called in and won an all expenses trip paid to New York, which for anybody, a free trip to New York, even in today's time, will be a great value, a great trip. And then on top of that, the trip, you got to go to a P. Diddy party. So calling a radio station, I've called the radio station to win tickets, not a great prize like you would think she won back then. And this was, back in 2006 during the height of Diddy's career, during the height of Bad Boy Entertainment and the white parties. So that was part of the enticement, was to bring people who knew about these parties, who desired to go there, which is why it was such a successful contest. She went to the party. There was transportation that was arranged, hotels that were arranged. Everything was all paid for, even transportation to the party. What I found to be concerning was that there was transportation to the party, but not from the party. And then at the party, Ms. Grayson alleges that, as you see in the lawsuit, and I want to start encouraging people to go read these lawsuits instead of hearing these sound bites that they see in the news or on social media, because before you go and start to make an opinion, you should go read these lawsuits. They are there. They are free. They are public record. But essentially, she was drugged. She woke up and was in the hospital. Her next memory was being in the hospital. After finally returning back to the hotel, she had to leave shortly thereafter to go back to Oklahoma. And then the next day, she received a call from an unidentified woman telling her that she shouldn't pursue anything against Diddy because it would be a waste of time.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation.
Listen, you guys, my apologies. Okay, my sincere and deepest apologies that I just wasted 5 minutes and 27 seconds of your life that you can never get back. Okay, lady, why did you come on there? I'm sorry, what? Anita said this is embarrassing. Okay, I'm sorry. Why did they even do the interview again? This is all crazy. I told you all that lady is shady. That attorney is shady as hell, honey. There's no way I would ever hire her to represent me for anything. Okay, for anything. If she was the last attorney standing, I wouldn't hire her. I find it all so nefarious. But with that all being said, let's talk about how they're stealing these Black people's homes. Now, before we get to that, let's talk about Bow Wow. Because Bow Wow's out here giving dating advice. I want y'all to pay attention. Hold on. First of all, he's out here talking to Travis Hunter. Now, here's the thing. I have to say that even though Bow Wow needs to sit down somewhere probably and not be out here giving anybody dating advice after he dated Erica Mena, right? He's out here giving dating advice to Travis Hunter. Now, listen, a lot of people have concerns about Travis Hunter's fiance. I'm going to tell you like this. That lady that he is engaged to does not want him. She wants his money. Okay? She wants his money. She does not want him. She wants his money. At the end of the day, fellas, please listen. If a woman tells you that you're not her type, then all of a sudden she's all in love with you. You should be asking yourself, what the hell changed? Why did I go from being not your type to you being all in love? Okay, please pay attention. Honey, this woman is a gold digger. That's all she is. And Travis Hunter needs to stop getting mad at us kind, considerate, thoughtful Black folk who want to see him doing well, who are trying to tell him things only in his best interest. Now, we could say that it's none of our business, but I'm sorry, I beg to differ. Because when your business is on the internet, when it is on the World Wide Web, it is absolutely anyone's business. It is anyone's business and anyone can speak on it. Okay? Anyone can speak on it. Songwriter said wig at it again. Okay, I'm sorry. He's just making, listen, I'm not going to get into it, but let's just go to what Bow Wow has to say. Because Bow Wow feels like he should not be with this woman. And I agree.
And the motherfucking money tongue out. That's your fiance.
Hold on, you guys. Let me start that over because I don't want y'all to miss a single thing of what he said because Bow Wow is a trip. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Okay. It's coming from your boy Bow Weezy, right? I never met you, don't know you, know nothing. But I will say this, because I've been watching from afar. I'm not the type of nigga to jump in people's business, but I was once young, about to make a lot of money, and I know how this shit go. So I need you to hear me out. Number one, I don't want you feeling as though everybody jumping down your back or cats is hating. That's that young nigga mentality. I want you to look at this like niggas care about you. And especially in our community and in this industry, not a lot of brothers get the opportunity like you about to get. You know what I mean? You about to get the biggest check in your life. You about to go to the NFL. And all we are doing is waking you up, young brother. Because if you don't see what the fuck is going on, gang, if we didn't give a fuck, we'll let you crash out. But from one plan to the next, hey, my nigga, I ain't gonna tell you what to do, but I want you to open up your eyes, man. Money tongue out. That's your fiance. Wake up, young brother. Fiancés don't move like that. I ain't never had one of my motherfucking girls ever lay next to me in the same crib as me under another nigga page, leaving her eyes with the money tongue out. Total violation. That bitch would have been packing up her shit and getting the fuck out my crib that day. I don't play that shit. You out. And it's like you so caught up in being in love with this motherfucker, bro. I don't even think this woman really love you like that, bro. You gotta watch the signs, man. That woman said you wasn't even her type. If a woman tell me she not my type but end up with me, then what's keeping you here? What's keeping you here then? If I'm not your type, that means you going off looks. So what the fuck is keeping you here? You got to ask, but you young, though. But you got to ask yourself them questions. We not coming down on you, brother. We trying to wake you up. You know what I'm saying? Before this motherfucker end up, last but not least, young brother, I want you to live your life, man. You young, man. I don't even think you're 24 yet. Do you know how much women are about to be thrown your way? Boy, you the Heisman Trophy Award winner. Can't no nigga give you no advice better than me, because I was young with the bag and I'm still here doing it, navigated through this whole shit. A nigga can't, I'm telling you from first-hand experience, brother, it's about to be so many women about to throw that thing your way, you ain't gonna be able to turn it down. So all it's gonna do is just lead to frustration and all type of bullshit in your household anyway. Young brother, snatch that ring back, get focused on what's important. Nigga, it's hard to build your shit when you got a broad with you. That's, bro, you in the media more for the broad than you is for the winning the Heisman. I don't like that. You know what I mean? So I don't give a look. Coach Prime got my number. You know how to hit me. I'm telling you, my nigga, I ain't coming down on you. I ain't trying to hate on your situation. But
It's just amazing to me how street and hood Bow Wow is talking. Okay? Bow Wow, please sit down somewhere. I mean, he's not lying. He's not lying, but at the end of the day, he needs to have several seats. Okay, nonetheless. Now, let's go to what Dame Dash had to say about Jay-Z lying and acting like him and Diddy aren't friends. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, but mind you, I'm going to put up, and shout out to Art of the Dialogue, I'm going to put up an overlay because I don't have permission to be using this. So, with that all being said, let me put up an overlay. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Just trying to find one with Jay-Z and Diddy. Not that it matters, I guess. Hold on. Okay, we'll use that one.
Feel about what Jay-Z is doing to you, sir?
Terrible accusation. I think what's iller is how people are reacting to the accusation, like they putting them through the ringer, and I've never seen them do that before. So that's the thing. Like usually things get brushed under the rug with him, and I've been accused of shit that I haven't done before, and people don't scrutinize. I didn't get as scrutinized as he's getting. So I'm like, why they? It's just odd to see him in that, in that getting looked at in that way by white people, like Jay does, yeah. Like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real. Like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media. Like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him, but like, drink champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne, because those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now because they on his head. But the question is why? Like why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. You're not gonna win. Let's get a deposition or something. So I don't know why they on his head so much, pause. But I never seen him, under this you know, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, you know, like I said, for me, I like, you see, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, you know, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him. If he is innocent, he needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story, as opposed to letting that lawyer talk. Because that lawyer, I don't trust that lawyer because I went to court with him. So to me, everything that guy says is, you know, allegedly a lie, just based on my experience with going to court with him. I don't trust the Alex Shapiro dude. He's ill. He's an ill dude. He'll say anything. Like he crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I would.
Did y'all hear what he said about Alex Spiro? Said he doesn't trust him. He'll say anything. Didn't I tell you he was shady? Didn't I say that while everybody's worried about Tony Buzbee, that he's the one that's shady? Russell Simmons, Jay-Z, and Diddy together. Yes, CC, if you didn't see the video that I did yesterday about Russell Simmons, Usher, and Jay-Z, please go back and watch. Anyone who missed that video, please go back and watch. Shanita said, yes, that's Foxy next to Russell. Yeah, that absolutely is Foxy Brown. Yeah, but let's continue.
I wouldn't have him talking for me. If he wants, you know, I'm not going to sit there and say nothing bad or good or defend or anything, because it'll all play itself out. I just think it's kind of ill that they're on his head like that. And if he's, you know, he should probably come out and say something. Like, I believe right now, you know, everybody needs to be transparent. Like back in the day, not saying something could have been like the wave, but that was before social media. So now that there's social media and transparency, if you got an issue, you don't let people speak for you. You should speak for yourself. Let people ask you questions and, you know, go from there. That's what I would do.
So you don't think it was a good idea for his lawyer to speak for him?
Mm-hmm. It's been too many things said for too long. So I'd be like, yo, I'm telling you what I did. So I got accused of a sexual assault. I went through a full trial. The first thing I did is I made my statement. And then I went and did an interview. You know, that's what I did. And I went to trial. It didn't affect me. You know, like I can't say it didn't completely affect me, but what I could say is they didn't do that shit. They doing it to him, to me. You know, and then when I won the trial, no one said a word. You know, saying that, you know, it's hard. Like I don't think I would have said that he didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's going to trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when do you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator? But that was nothing. But I've never seen him under the fire ever. Not in a long time. Not like, I've never seen people on his head like that, Paul. Ever.
Yeah, this might be my first time seeing people come at him like this.
Like I said, I didn't hear him say anything. Like, I'm not some white man speaking for another black man doesn't add up. It just doesn't work like that. Like, he doesn't know what to say on Jay's behalf. Jay would have to say that. So if he instructed him to say that, like, you don't even know if Jay told him to say that. He could have got off the stage and they was like, why'd you say that? He was like, I had to. You know, like, he probably said it because homeboy wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like, I didn't hear him say anything. I haven't heard Jay say a word yet. Have you?
Nah, I haven't heard him say anything.
There it is. So y'all going by a piece of paper with words. Don't get caught up in that. I have not heard him say one thing yet. You know, until I see him speak, he hasn't spoke to me. That's why I said I don't think he did not say that. His lawyer said it. So what else is a lawyer gonna say? You know what I'm saying?
Right. But speaking of his lawyer, what did he do to you personally?
Alex Shapiro, he's the one. I'm gonna tell you what he did. I could tell you this is not allegedly. First of all, he works for Jay personally, as we see. He represented Rockefeller Inc. for Jay, for Rockefeller Inc. And they made that phony case against me saying that I was trying to sell the whole thing. Remember we went to court? That's when I started speaking about him again, because he was like, now you taking me to court, you lying. It was a straight lie. And the only purpose of it was to illegally change bylaws so that it prohibited me from selling my interest unless they all agreed to it. And then the way they had the meetings, he was the one at the meeting changing the bylaws, speaking and talking in such a disrespectful way, like he ran Rockefeller or some shit. So, and then the comments that he's made, like Jay getting his master's back in certain years, like every single game that he played with me was a lie. Like he lied a lot. Like it was a straight lie. And then they was harassing me with the lawsuits, sending me all type of papers and shit. And I just didn't give a because I knew I was like you see, look at the way no one ever talks about the fact that they just dismissed the case. Nah, he's an ill nigga. That's what I'm saying. He's like, he does whatever, says whatever, he does whatever, he doesn't play. I'm saying he's the real deal. Those two going against each other will be very interesting.
All right. Well, y'all heard that. James said those two going against each other, and he's talking about Tony Buzbee. Honey, I think Alex Spiro is nefarious, just like I told you guys on yesterday, okay? That's enough confirmation for me as far as I'm concerned. Now, somebody put in the chat something about Cat Williams spilling all the tea. I can't find the video, beloved. I wish I could, because I want to hear this, but I can't find it as of yet. I'll have to look for it later and then come back with it, okay? I'll have to come back with it. So Moonchild Pink says, as a legal secretary, the criminal attorneys getting with the criminal thinking after years of working with them. The criminal attorneys get with the criminal thinking after years of work with them. Okay, I get what you're saying. You know what? I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that because when I was in college for criminal justice, that's one of the things that my professor, who in fact used to be a prosecutor previously, that's one of the things that she told us as well. Okay. She said basically to catch a criminal, you have to start thinking like them. So I absolutely believe that to be true, beloved. Okay, so now with that all been said, let's talk about these Black people's houses being snatched down here in Atlanta. And I find it all so nefarious. And they're legally taking these houses. I want you all to pay attention. They're legally doing this, okay? Just snatching up these people's houses. And this episode of an investigative report, an Atlanta News First report, it's called Misdeeds, okay? Because they're fraudulently obtaining these people's deeds to their homes. And this reminds me of the same things that happened back in the early 1900s. Okay, shortly after slavery, when Black people were acquiring land and their land was stolen from them, okay, as well as the natives. So let's get into it.
He said that he's the new owner.
It upsets me just to even talk about it. I feel so violated.
The issue is out of control.
You can't walk up and say, I like that house. I'm going to just take it.
It is bizarre.
She can't sign a deed 3 months after she's died.
People have been getting away with it, and we must stop it. And I'm so happy that we are about to do just that. Thanks to you.
Welcome to Misdeeds, an Atlanta News First investigation. The deed to a home is the official ownership paperwork. It outlines the name of the owner, the date in which they began owning, and the physical details of the property. That document is legitimized once it's filed in the county clerk's office. But Atlanta News First Investigates uncovered a legal loophole in Georgia law. No one has to prove they own the very property they're filing paperwork on, making way for deed theft and other massive property fraud.
I only owed them a few dollars.
Nothing brings light to this Ellenwood home quite like Eric Clark.
paperwork back and forward.
He's been the owner of the DeKalb County property for 20 years.
Okay.
Until now.
He said that he was the new owner.
Littered on the table, documents detailed the dilemma. July 2022, a real estate agent left a letter on Eric's front door stating this property has been foreclosed and purchased by Ace Homes, LLC. Call to discuss. Records appear to show he took out a second mortgage loan on the home. He never made payments, forcing it to default, leading to the foreclosure. But Eric never paid it because he says it was not him, claiming the second mortgage loan has his signature forged.
I've never had a second mortgage, just the bottom line. And I'm no fool, you know, I know right from wrong.
Eric filed multiple DeKalb County police reports alleging this is fraud. The 56-year-old described to police, quote, fake documents to steal his house, citing the realtor Mehboob Omar wrongfully has the deed to his home.
Well, I've been stressed out. I had to speak to a psychiatrist. I was just lost in the shuffle.
Right now in DeKalb State Court, he's in a legal fight. It's not his only battle.
Putting your mask on. No.
Kidney failure. Due to a bad bout of COVID, Eric requires dialysis 3 times a week.
But I mean, it beats dying, so anything beats dying.
A DeKalb County judge issued this in the sick father's case. Claim of wrongful foreclosure is not a defense to dispossessory proceeding, meaning even if Eric believes there was fraud, if he does not pay the rent to the new homeowner, they have the right to evict him while he's fighting a civil case. The retiree is not alone.
My house literally was stolen.
Fair housing advocate John Fisher told Atlanta City Council in a September 5th meeting he's uncertain how, but someone wrongfully obtained the deed to his home too, saying there are hundreds of similar but unrelated cases, all a part of a pattern.
The issue is out of control.
Across the metro.
They're creating documents that do not exist in the forms of a foreclosure deed or a power of the deed in the process without any proof.
Do you feel helpless in those kind of situations?
We really do.
Douglas County Clerk of Superior and State Court, Annetta Danley Stembridge.
Our hands are really tied.
Under current Georgia law, clerks like Stembridge cannot require IDs from people when they come into the clerk's office to file deeds, liens, or any other type of property paperwork.
We cannot question what people file.
So it's the honor system. Simply put, anyone can file documents on your home as long as the paper appears to be legitimate and filled out.
We have to accept it.
Steinbridge recalls times families show up to the office only to learn their home is no longer theirs.
It is a horrible feeling. And just to see, the looks on their faces and, like that's that whole family's inheritance, gone down the drain.
It's why some Georgia clerks want state law to change, require identification, and file any property paperwork. The effects are hard for the once homeowners turned tenants, like Eric Clark, who must now pay $2,409 in rent or leave his 20-year residence.
It's painful and it's embarrassing more than anything to go out here to be my age and have to try to start over. That's painful.
Ace Homes, LLC, the new owner of Eric's house, says other than directing us to the judge's verdict, they have no comment. As for allegations of property fraud, DeKalb Police is investigating. Meanwhile, Eric Clark is still fighting his civil case. It's a misdeed homeowners say police overlook. Houses stolen right from under Metro Atlanta families. It's all part of a troubling trend of deed fraud in Georgia. Fraudulent deeds are often filed in the clerk's office because proof of ID is not.
21 JM Hustler says, doesn't make any sense. How is this legal? Exactly, beloved. That's a very good question. How is this legal? You see, in my opinion, they have this set up this way just so that they can take people's property. How is it that you can be living in your home that you have been paying for 20 plus years, and then someone just walks into the recorder of deeds office, fraudulently signs your name forgery and then takes over possession of your property and then sells it or gives it to someone else, and then you have no way of getting the property back. The police say, oh, it's a civil matter. How is it simply a civil matter when they've committed forgery and fraud, which are criminal acts? Okay, this is just a way for them to legally steal people's property. That's what it is. The same thing, no different than, like I said, what they did decades ago.
Required. If it happens to your house, it's important to file a police report to have a record of the allegations. However, we uncovered this type of crime often goes without criminal charges, even in the seemingly most simple cases.
He said it was a crazy story, that there's no way this could be.
The police officer said that?
Yes.
An alleged property crime so absurd it'd be comical if not for Brenda Booth's grief. She's mourning her last sibling, sister Claudia Marie.
I'm an orphan. I felt abandoned. It was really, really hard.
January 2000.
And I want to add that they do this mostly to Black people, but they'll also do it to poor people like this woman here. But in their cases, here's what they do. They'll wait until the person is deceased. If the person's dead, then they'll go and fraudulently file for it and take over possession. Okay? I mean, it's like the nerve of it. It sounds so ridiculous that they're not requesting an ID. You need your ID for almost everything else. Why would you not need an ID to walk in there and to sign someone's deed? Okay, how does that even make sense?
2022, Claudia died. Since her health had long been declining, her sister says death was expected. But the complexities that followed in this case, Brenda never anticipated.
Yeah, it's been a doozy.
With help from attorney Daniel Calamaro, Brenda filed paperwork in probate court to handle all the assets of her late sister. Among the assets, Claudia's Clayton County home in the city of Rex.
It's usually a fairly routine process. You gather the assets, you gather the debts, you notify the creditors, and you make your disbursements to the family, and away you go. That did not happen here.
When they tried to sell the sister's home, they learned the house was no longer hers. County clerk records show Claudia's signature on this deed, transferring the home to this private company, EBA Capital Inc. You see Claudia's name right here, signed the 26th day of April 2022. Just one problem. Claudia was already dead by then. She'd been dead for 3 months, according to her state certified death certificate.
She can't sign a deed 3 months after she's died.
Real estate attorney James Clifton.
How did she do that?
Right, unless she's Lazarus or this company that supposedly received the deed from her sent a witness and notary to heaven. There's no way that this lady could have possibly signed the deed.
Clifton argues there's a sharp jump
growing exponentially
in these.
Hold on for just a second. Let me say shout out to Agent KK and thank you for all the new people who have recently joined the channel. Okay, welcome to the Queendom. Peace, love, and blessings.
Cases because there are few state protections.
What they're doing to clients like mine is it's horrible.
As we uncovered, to file property paperwork in the clerk's office under current Georgia law, there is no requirement to show ID or prove you own the home. In effect, anyone can file deeds on your house. This veteran attorney claims police are failing to investigate.
Because the general feeling right now, especially from the victims, is that this is a crime fraudsters can get away with.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. Attorneys feel that way. We report it to local law enforcement. They tell us that there's nothing they can do about it. They say it's a civil matter only, even though there's forgery, even though there's fraud, which are crimes.
We visited the home to find the new owner.
I'm looking for the owner of the house.
The man there would not tell us why he was at the house, saying he was neither the owner nor did he know anything about the private business EBA Capital Inc. State records show the business is licensed to Emmanuel Clark.
We're calling about the property in Rex, Georgia.
He did not respond to any of our texts or calls. Clayton County officers tried to get answers out of him too after the family filed an official police report. However, when they couldn't verify his identity after talking on the phone with him, they did not pursue arrest warrants for theft by deception.
Do you feel like local officials have taken that seriously?
Not at all. Not at all. So it's been really hard. You don't have anyone to call and say, hey, am I doing this right? What do I do with this? How do I do this? You're just by yourself.
Right about now, you may be thinking, doesn't a deed require notarization? Well, yes, but lawyers even accuse notaries of being in on the forgery because a notary should only stamp the document after they confirm the true identity of the signer.
Let me tell you guys something. The notaries absolutely are in on it, okay? And at the end of the day, these people work in concert together. One thing about it is this entire practice is nothing more than mortgage fraud. Like, it's the same thing. How is it any different? You know, I mean, it should be categorized under that. You know, as far as I'm concerned, that's what it should be. Okay, so 100 Black Rogue L says, hello, Queen. The owner has to research back to who or what organization does this, then show up. Many stay in pity to our own fault. Those thieves feel no fear. Thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. But here's the thing. In some cases, beloved, they have researched to find out who the company is that has purchased it or who the person is. And as you can see, when the police go to speak to the person and they don't get an answer, no one comes to the door, they don't do anything after that. They don't go and, follow up on warrants or anything. So it's just like the people have no recourse. And it's really a shame. These laws need to be changed because this is nothing more than legal theft. This reminds me of civil asset forfeiture. You see how the government or the police, they can basically pull you over, search your vehicle, and if you have large sums of money, they can confiscate it under the guise of you were probably obtaining this money illegally, and then just take your money, but they have not charged you of any crime, and they have no proof. They don't even have probable cause to suspect that you acquired the money by illegal gains. But they'll take it anyway, and then you have to go hire an attorney and pay to get your money back. And in most cases, they just get to keep the money because, for example, there was, let's just say, for example, if someone has $20,000 and the police confiscate it, right, basically accusing the person of having obtained it by illegal means, and then this person has to hire an attorney and pay like $6,000 or $7,000 to get back the $20,000. How is that fair? Why do you have to pay to get back your own money that's rightfully yours and you didn't steal it? But this is what they do. And in some cases, the people don't even bother because sometimes the amount of money confiscated is not even worth the amount that they have to pay to get it back. What if they take $5,000 from you and then you go to hire an attorney and the attorney says, well, we're going to charge you $4,000, okay, or $5,000. This is absolutely the case in some instances. So they have a lot of these laws that are just used, in my opinion, for them to legally steal from the citizens, but only in America. Please pay attention.
Our investigation found so often that's just not the case. If a deed is wrongfully notarized, it could upend your entire life.
Had you heard of something like this happening before?
No, ma'am, I hadn't heard it. I didn't think that would happen to me.
Although in his retirement phase of life, 85-year-old Robert Elder feels like he just took on a new job, trying to correct a misdeed. For more than 50 years,
since the early 70s,
Robert built equity into his Southwest Atlanta property. In that time, he lost his sight.
I'm blind like I am.
His late wife.
I don't have a circle people.
Now, he's even lost the home.
The deed to transfer title has your signature on it.
Somehow or another it was, but I don't know who put it on there.
Last year, a new deed was filed on Robert's house, not just once, but 3 different times. First in July, then again in August with updated wording labeled corrective deed, and once more in September. All transferred Robert's home to someone else. None of the signatures matched the way the 85-year-old signed his name as shown in other official documents. As Atlanta News First investigations revealed, under current Georgia law, to file property paperwork in the clerk's office, no identification is required. No one has to prove they own the property. In effect, anyone can file deeds on your home. In Robert's case, it was not a stranger who did this. A Fulton County lawsuit accuses his own family, a stepson from his first marriage, Tory Elder.
I feel more disappointed.
Property fraud attorney Rick Allenbeck.
Mr. Elder did not sign these documents. Absolutely none. I mean, this is stealing. This is theft. And just because, a gun.
Let me tell you all something. This is a whole bunch of bullshit. You know what I would do in a situation like this? If someone took my deed, went and fraudulently obtained it by signing my signature, okay, and getting it into their possession, as soon as I found out that that was done, I would go right back down there to the recorder of deeds myself and sign their signature just like they did mine and take it right back. Okay, that's what I would do. Think about it. Okay, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You want to go down there and forge my signature and take my property? Well, I'll go right back down there and forge yours and take it right back. Please sit down somewhere, honey. These people think they are so slick. Okay, and the police don't want to do anything. They don't want to do anything about it, talking about it's a civil issue, honey. I would go right back down there and do the same thing that they did to get it in the first place. Miss me with it.
Wasn't used or because nobody broke into somebody's house doesn't mean it's not a crime that shouldn't be prosecuted.
We found 2 addresses linked to the son accused, Tory. He was not there. We later talked to him on the phone. How did your dad's name get on this deed transfer when he says he never signed it?
He's lying.
Why would he be lying?
You need to talk to him about that.
So how did his name get on this deed? How did his name get on this deed? The lawsuit blames the notaries, too. As long as a deed is filled out and notarized, the clerks must accept it. However, state law says notaries should stamp documents only when they witness and confirm the true identity of the signer. If Robert never signed the deeds, never met any of the notaries, why were the deeds notarized in the first place? A question we attempted to ask the notaries whose names were on these deeds, Jamila Garth and Christine Smith. The notaries seem very elusive. We went to properties that public records show were possibly connected to the women. We sent messages to their email addresses tied to their notary certifications. One later answered our phone call, Christine Smith. We just want to know why you notarized the document if Mr. Robert Elder never signed it. She refused to explain.
There's no question. Yeah, somebody notarized a document that was signed by someone who was not Mr. Elder.
As for the alleged deed theft, Robert has this to say to the man he considered a son.
Well, I think he ought to get a life and take care of his business.
So you want him to get a life, get his own life?
Well, I think he got one, but he just, he's not going to take a shortcut in life. I think that's what he is. Don't take no shortcut.
Welcome back to Miss Deeds, an Atlanta News First investigation which uncovers the progression of property fraud in Georgia due to a legal loophole in state policy. Since we began our reporting, legislators filed multiple bills to change Georgia law. Because as we revealed, to file deed paperwork in the clerk's office, no one has to.
Now, let me say this. At the end of the day, it's obvious that the notaries are in on the scam. That's why the one that she spoke to on the phone didn't want to answer the questions and was very elusive. At the end of the day, I would press charges against them for fraud. Either you're going to tell me who did this, you're going to give me their information and all of that and admit to what you did, or I'm going to drag you through the ringer. Okay, I'm sorry, honey. You just want to get away with this with me, honey. That's what you wouldn't do. I would literally make their life a living hell because I'd have time. Okay, I would have time that day. This is absolutely egregious. And notice that they're doing this to mostly elderly people. It is such a shame. People can't even enjoy their golden years.
Prove they own the very property they're filing paperwork on. Thieves were stealing the titles to homes across Metro Atlanta. When House Bill 888 was first filed, the legislation mandated that proof of ID be required when filing a deed. Democrat State Rep Mandisha Thomas says she was disturbed by the cases we reported, calling the loophole bizarre.
I'm baffled. I'm baffled at why we're not using our power and authority to protect Georgians and their homes.
The Democrat-backed legislation stalled, but then came Senate Bill 474, a bipartisan effort to mandate IDs. It was written and backed by the Georgia Realtors Association. Like its predecessor bill, SB 474 stalled too, failing to make the critical legislative deadline for a vote. With just days to spare before the state's legislative session ends, a new bill emerges. HB 1292 tackled predatory real estate problems. It called for IDs when filing a deed, stricter penalties, and proven forgery cases, and its sponsor specifically credited Atlanta News First Investigates.
First of all, I want to tell you the inspiration behind the bill. You are a big part of it because your bulldog approach to reporting on this issue, you latched on and you never let go. That was very inspiring.
Atlanta News First Investigations inspired Georgia State Representative Gabe Okoye to sponsor House Bill 1292. Its goal? In the troubling trend of deed theft. For nearly a year, we uncovered case
My home was stolen from me.
after case, proving a minor loophole wreaks major havoc.
This is not right.
Our reporting found under Georgia law, no identification was required to file a deed on a home. In effect, you did not have to prove you own the property, meaning fraudsters were forging deeds, transferring titles, stealing houses right from under Metro Atlanta families.
Those people that I've seen in your show, on your reporting, I don't even know if any of them ever recovered their homes yet. No.
People like Eric Clark. We first met the father back in September 2023. Today, do you own your home again?
Not yet. I'm still in court fighting.
Not only was a fake deed filed on his home, according to police reports, but also a second mortgage taken out too. A loan he says he never paid because he never knew about it until it was too late. His home was foreclosed, and now the new owners make him pay rent on the property he once owned for 20 years. And how much is the rent?
$2,409 a month.
Eric's case helped inspire the new law. Under HB 1292, if convicted, fraudsters must pay all of Eric's attorney fees and damages. At least now it feels like the law might be on your side.
Yeah.
The new legislation mandates that you prove who you are when filing a deed. Identification must be given to the clerk's office. Oversight, Douglas County Clerk Annetta Danley Stembridge wanted for years. Let me tell you all something. I'm so glad that she shed light on this because this has been going on for quite some time, okay? And nobody cared. They didn't want to change any laws because it was disproportionately targeting Black people for the theft of their homes and properties, okay? And in some cases, stealing their generational wealth. So I want you all to pay attention. Now, if this woman had not done this very thorough investigative report, these things would continue to go on. Okay, low down and dirty. And they didn't care because like I said, when it's happening to Black people and then also poor people, but more specifically Black people, nobody cares. Let's just go ahead and take their properties. Okay, let's just go ahead and snatch it right out from under them. They have no recourse. Please pay attention. This is all nefarious.
I was very excited about it.
However, the clerk argues it's only one piece in the puzzle of property fraud.
You know, I can see a few holes in it.
She hopes for even more safeguards beyond solely requiring IDs.
So I think it would stop a lot of it. But whether it would stop all of it, you know, I doubt that.
But for lawmakers like Okoye, it's a major step creating new criminal penalties and recourse for victims.
People have been getting away with it. And we must stop it. And I'm so happy that we are about to do just that. And thanks to you.
House Bill 1292 mandates notaries to keep evidence of all their notarization files from dates, times, locations, and the person's ID info. Governor Brian Kemp signed the bill, which now goes into effect January 1st, 2025.
Now, the law didn't take effect immediately, so some homeowners are still at risk. But I want you all to pay attention because who signed that bill? Governor Brian Kemp, who's a Republican. Okay, that's who signed it. Now, I'm not crazy about Governor Brian Kemp, but shout out to him for signing that bill. All right, where are the Democrats at when you need them? Is all I'm asking. So anyway, with that all being said, let's talk about this last story, and then I'm out of here because the Queen has things to do. Okay. So this man is accused of murking a reality star. Hold on here. 20-year-old Marine arrested for murder, allegedly killed a reality show contestant and dumped her body in a pond, honey. Okay, this is all nefarious. Victim reportedly met suspect while escorting at an Alabama motel. This is all so sad. Right, it says this should have happened 80 years ago. Thank you, Brian Kemp. Exactly, okay? I absolutely agree, honey. They have been doing this for too darn long. And a lot of these people are never going to get anything for their stolen properties.
He was at the Greyhound bus station on South 4th Street. Our East Alabama reporter Justin Brown is live this evening at the Lee County Sheriff's Office. And Justin, you spoke with officials today on the arrest. What more can you tell us?
Well, Rosalind, Willie Ellington was arrested and taken to the Lee County Detention Center. He was wanted on murder and possession of child pornography charges. And the Lee County Sheriff's Office was asked to help in finding Ellington by the Escambia County Sheriff's Office in Florida.
You know, the way crime is, crime doesn't stay in one place.
According to Escambia County, Florida Sheriff's Office, 20-year-old Willie Ellington, an active duty Marine stationed in Pensacola, was wanted for allegedly murdering a Florida woman and dumping her body into a pond in Mobile, Alabama. 26-year-old Tashay Bennett was reported missing on December 14th, and authorities began a homicide investigation.
We work a lot with all of the surrounding agencies, including agencies from out of state.
That is exactly how Lee County Sheriff's Office got involved. Escambia County Sheriff's Office alerted Lee County investigators to Ellington traveling from Mobile to the Opelika area.
Traveling on a Greyhound bus. He was traveling into Opelika. They also advised that he was wanted for murder and possession of child pornography.
Captain Jimmy Taylor with the Lee County Sheriff's Office says his investigators did a stakeout of the bus stop and were at the location when the bus arrived.
Lee County investigators went to the 4th Street bus station, and that's in about the 300 block of Columbus Parkway in Opelika. Set up surveillance, waited on a bus to come in, which the bus arrived approximately 5:30.
Captain Taylor says his investigators got on the bus and found Ellington based on a picture sent to them. He says Ellington tried to lie about his identity, but did not resist arrest.
And apprehended Ellington without incident. When the investigators got onto the bus and they were asking him his name, he gave a false name to them to begin with, but they knew what he looked like because we already had a photo from Escambia County.
Ellington is being held at the Lee County Detention Center, awaiting extradition back to Escambia County, Florida. But for now, live in Opelika, I'm Justin Brown for WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, Justin, thank you so much for that report.
Okay, also nefarious. You all heard that. It's a darn shame. What is wrong with people? Then threw the woman's body in a pond, honey. I mean, just absolutely crazy. Bobo said CP and murder. Monster. Exactly. Namaste said both very young. Very sad. So anyway, with that all being said, hold on. Let's go back to this housing situation because there's this one woman's story that I want you all to hear. And then I promise we're out of here. Okay? I forgot to play this woman's story. Let's get into it.
Remain at risk. But in the meantime, some police agencies are beginning to change the way they investigate and track these cases.
These windows were off.
The Decatur house on the corner of Columbia Woods Drive is an extension of Marva Reyes's lineage. Her parents first purchased it in 1974 after tragedy.
They made the down payment and policy from my brother's death. This represents our family.
But the property has changed so much this past year, including the ownership.
Taken by someone.
DeKalb County records show Marva called code enforcement March 2024 for trespassing. While there, inspectors cited the property for exterior dwelling violations like debris and yard maintenance. Additionally, the home was supposed to be empty and vacant, but inspectors noted someone gained access, leaving the house in disarray. It's unclear who did it, but this man, whose face we're blurring, was there at the time. A man Marva accuses of being a squatter.
When we came to get the squatter out, the squatter was telling me, oh, the owner said I can stay here. So he called the owner, and I heard him in the background saying, I own the house, I have a title, I have a deed.
Documents reveal there was, in fact, a new deed on the house. According to the latest county records, on January 24th, 2024, Marva's mom, Katie Williams, signed her name on this deed, transferring the house's title over to Ahmadiyyah Buzbee. But wait, that can't be. Katie Williams could not have signed over her home January 2024 because by then she was already dead for 7 years. This death certificate confirms Marva's mom, Katie, died February 2017. Marva's dad, Walter Williams, died shortly after too, meaning neither could have signed or transferred the title of their property this year. Additionally, Marva was named the executor of their estate, her late parents leaving her their house. To help you understand, Atlanta News First Investigates spent nearly a year exposing a legal loophole in Georgia. Old state law made it easy for thieves to steal the titles to homes. Under that state policy, to file or transfer a deed on a house, no identification was required. Simply put, the state did not require anyone to actually prove they own the very property they're filing paperwork on. New state law takes effect in 2025, mandating identification when filing deeds, but it comes too late for cases like Marva's, after B already exploited the loophole, Marva alleges.
You can't walk up and say, I like that house, I'm gonna just take it. We're not giving up as a family in getting this home back.
There's a lot of paperwork involved.
In the neighboring county, Gwinnett Police says it's trying to get homes back for families too.
It gets complicated. It takes a lot of time and effort to be able to sift through the.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there, but I want you all to also pay attention to how these squatters, once these squatters get into someone's houses, you catch hell even getting them out. Okay, I mean, it's so crazy that it seems like all these other people have so many more rights than the homeowners. I mean, squatters get in there and you literally catch hell trying to get them up out of your own property. Okay, please make that make sense. All these crazy loopholes and all these ridiculous laws and everything is just problematic. Okay, it is absolutely problematic. Sean H says this is nefarious. The fact the squatter called the owner. Okay, it's absolutely crazy. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Now, listen, I did say we would be on the spiritual channel today, but I apologize. We'll have to be on there tomorrow because I have some errands to run and other things to do. Okay, so promise we will be on there tomorrow. Okay, so everyone enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. And don't forget, beloveds, always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Till next time, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass. be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me?